What's happening, Wisdom Warriors? Back at it for another video. Yeah, yeah. By the way, we got a lot to talk about today, and I something has been going on with my equipment because now every time I need to check and verify that the microphone is set up in OBS Studio to make sure that we're recording, and it's not just me recording and then it's silence. But first thing I want to start off with, so I told you guys that I was starting a tarot card reading class and that it was going to be starting soon, and actually it started last night. And what I wanted to talk to you about first before we get into the video is the mere fact that he gave us a homework, I guess you can call it, or practice we can do until the next class, because it's once a week, every Wednesday evening. And I love the teacher, and I'm grateful and thankful for it just being brought in front of me. Also, today when I was pumping gas, I saw on my car dash 555 for the mileage that I have left till I need to fill up again. And so, another sign from the universe. And earlier today, when I went to an appointment, I saw 222. Check out the numbers, what they mean for you. They're definitely angel numbers and synchronicities at its finest. I keep seeing them. I know that my glow up is here. It's coming, especially with this channel. Wisdom Warriors, we're going to the top, baby, all of us. And this is an amazing community, and I love where it's headed and where it's going. And I thank all of you for your support and the comments you put in, and the subscribers, and for you sharing, and just all of it. So as I woke up in the morning, my morning practice got derailed because Gaia TV would not let me sign in, and it was saying it had problems, and that's the first time that happened in 2 years. So I basically went ahead and did some more meditation. And before I did the meditation, I shuffled my tarot deck, as I showed you before. It's the Rider-Waite tarot deck. And so I shuffled my deck. And let me explain to you the practice that he said. So he said that when he started doing tarot well over 7 years ago, he said that what he did was every morning, once he woke up, he pulled out his deck and he shuffled the deck. And what he did was he pulled one card after shuffling it, and he placed that on his desk. And then after placing it on his desk, he then left it there and asked Spirit and himself and his higher self to connect to that deck all day long, and what energies he was getting from it. He meditated on it in the morning, and by the end of the evening, he wrote down and journaled a lot of the messages and downloads he was getting throughout the day. And so I did that, and I said, okay, I'm going to put this in my calendar. And today was my first day, and I'm going to do it for the entire 5 weeks, of this program or class. And that will give me a better understanding, because I don't think that I will probably get the same card every day, or even I might not even get the same card in the entire 5 weeks. We'll just have to see. But I took a photo, of course, of it too. And I'm going to do that each day. And of course, it'll say the date of when I took the photo, so that's even better. And it's going to, what he said it will do is connect you more to the cards and the energies and the major arcanas and minor arcanas. You'll just get more connection with those cards, and it will strengthen and build your intuition. And it will also, you'll receive downloads and whatnot for yourself and for the cards and the energies that are coming from those the card that you drew that morning. So I wanted to show you guys the card that I got when I shuffled the deck. This is the card that flew out, and it's the Strength card. And I'm pretty sure you guys, yeah, there you go, that's better. So it's the Strength card. And I felt like it was very ironic that this was the card that flew out of the deck. As I start my tarot journey in this class. Mind you, I signed up for another class too with another teacher, but that one is not live. It's just recorded videos. I am definitely going to go through that also. There's about 80 videos, I think, that were made for that class. But this was such a profound, way to do it. I didn't even think about it, but it clicked. And I'm like, wow, that's a really good idea. So it'll get me more in tune with the cards. And then so the other thing he added to it was he said at the end of the day, not only did he journal what the energies that came up and the information that came up for him with that card, but then he also said that he then looked at the definition at the end of the day. So he didn't bother to look at it, read it prior to the course, prior to his journey of tarot. He did it after each day. He then proceeded to match up what he came up with, and then what some of the different tarot reader authors wrote about that major arcana or minor arcana or just card in general. So me personally, in the beginning of the day, I was getting like courage and tenacity and well, of course, strength and trusting and because of course in the picture, as you can see, it's a lion, and and she has her hands around the neck of the lion or the head of the lion, and she has to trust that the lion's not going to just turn around and destroy her or eat her or rip her to shreds, and so not only that, but you have mountains in the background, and the background is also yellow, so there's a lot of sunshine. And so, but there's a lot of, there's strength in the fact that she's walking this lion with her hands, and that the strength is in the trust that the lion is not going to turn around on her, and so there's a lot of unknown there. And there's a lot of trust and strength and peace. You have to be at peace because your energy is going to transfer to the lion and the lion's going to transfer to you. So if you're feeling chaotic or stressed or anxious or fearful, the lion's going to pick up on that. So, you have to, there's a lot of strength, trust, unknown, courage. Courage is a big thing that came through. And then of course, like I said, there's mountains behind it, and there's sunshine in the background, and it takes a lot of courage and strength to not be fearful that the lion's going to eat you up. So that's just some of it that I get by just looking at this card and holding it. And what I experienced earlier today was I got those things like courage and unknown. There's a lot of unknown in strength and trusting the unknown and Let's see what you guys get. Comment below. Comment below this video. But I didn't want to, take up the entire time with this. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and this practice that I'm going to be doing. If you have a tarot deck, let's do it together. If you watch this video today, pull a card. Start it tomorrow and pull a card for yourself. Shuffle the deck, pull a card, and put it on your desk. Mull over it throughout the day. See what comes up, journal it, and then by the evening, read the definition and match your definition up with what you came up with. And I feel like each day that goes by, the more and more you do it, the more and more you're going to be going from your intuition, and your intuition is going to get stronger, and you're going to trust what is coming through, the messages. I feel like I'm already doing that because I've been doing other things spiritually and with my intuition, and these last 5 years or more have really given me, plus going out in nature, I really feel you get a lot of downloads, and you have to trust those messages that come in and not just believe that, that's a thought I thought. No, maybe that is your intuition bringing those visuals in your mind or those messages in your mind. That's not, we've been trained to believe, going through school and conditioning and manipulation and brainwashing, that these thoughts that come in are our thoughts. What if they're spirit? What if they're, your intuition telling you? What if it's, and I believe it is. I know it is. It's not even that I believe, I know. And I say it with conviction because I've had a huge turn in my life. Now I'm going to put the card down, but here I'll let you get one more chance to look at it. And if you want to screenshot this, go right ahead. This was the first card on 3/9/2023 as I'm making this video. So enjoy and see what you come up with, and comment below what you thought about what I said and what the definition said and what you came up with. All right. So that's what we're going to say for that. And I know I spoke about on the short that I did earlier, frequency and vibration, and that's kind of where I'm leading to with what I'm talking about right now, and the intuition and trusting yourself internally, because that's where we're kind of being led back to now, leading in 2023. I feel like we're being put in these situations by us and for us to get us to go home to ourselves, to trust ourselves, whether it be like a health challenge or a relationship issue that you're having with maybe a romantic partner or a friendship or a family member, or maybe you're just dealing with the law or dealing with whatever it may be. There's situations where they're requiring us not to go outside of us. They're requiring us to find that inner voice, to find that inner message within us, because we have all the answers. We've just been taught that we don't. And we've been taught to go outside of ourselves, or go watch the, the box that has all the information, that gives you the weather and gives you, predictions. What about you giving predictions for yourself? We have it all within us, whether it be for our health or a situation in life. Like I talked about this on previous videos. Do you think that you would have signed up to come down here on this planet? First of all, mind you, you came down with amnesia for one. Would you think that you would be coming down here with absolutely no compass to go through life? Mind you, it felt like that for me most of my life, where I was blindfolded and just walking around blindfolded and hitting the walls and whatnot. But I wasn't in tune. Well, at least I didn't think I was in tune, because I doubted everything. The messages came through. I saw visuals. I'm extremely like I base everything off of, like, I see a visual of something. That's how I even tell people directions to somewhere, because I remember, like, images of landmarks and things like that. Like I can picture that in my mind, and then I can be like, oh yeah, I remember that place because I remember this that was around it, and this was around it, and this person, and I could go to a party and remember what a specific person wore at that party, and that could be years and years later, and then that kind of like it's a story that connects all the dots for me, because I've been very hands on. For one, that's how I learn, and I the best, I mean, I can learn anyway, but the best way that I learn is hands on. So if you're just telling me how to read tarot and telling me all of that, it's going to be kind of going in one ear and out the other. I got to have the deck in front of me. I got to be shuffling it. I got to have the cards, where I can see the visuals, and then I remember those visuals. And it's like I always remembered that I never really remembered somebody's name. I remembered what they look like, their facial features, their that's kind of how I went through life. I base a lot of things off of imagery and seeing it, picturing it in my mind. And that is what allows me to be so creative and, like I can figure out things so easily in a way that you would think, man, that's so hard, but I figure out a way to do it much more quickly and much more easily. And so that's definitely a skill of mine and a superpower. And so, but getting into more of, let's lead into, this is probably going to be a longer video than I normally would want to do. Again, it fluctuates. I've been trying to stick to like a 15-minute video or so, but I'm not going to cut the video off now. We're in 17 minutes. I want to keep going because I really do I want to get into like the frequency and vibration a bit. And I'm kind of getting the impression that there's going to be a part two. I'm not going to edit this one right now because I'm still editing the thumbnail from the previous one, and I kind of want to post this for you guys. I got to get the editing practice more refined. I'm going to have to work with this guy in a better way that we can kind of pop these videos out faster. So I have to talk with him and figure out some kind of method we can get these videos out quicker for you guys. And because I do want to drop one daily. Maybe what I'm going to have to do is record a couple in one day and then have him edit one, and then once that's edited, then post another one, post the one that's edited, and while he's working on the other one, something of that effect. Anyways, let's move on from that. Let me get into like the frequencies and vibrations and a bit of some background that I've experienced, and I can maybe you can understand what I'm saying. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll think it's mumbo jumbo. Maybe you won't. Maybe it's airy fairy. I don't know. But that doesn't matter. If you don't like it, maybe then you have to seek another channel or click off the video. I don't want to, not trying to force anything down anybody's throats. If you resonate with it, great. If you don't, you don't. Regardless, we're going to the top. Regardless, we are, because we're attracting through frequency and vibration the energies of people that need this content. And it will happen. It's only a matter of time. I'm going to keep going and, and keep evolving with you all and growing. I just hope that you share these videos, and if you can share it like you would share some viral video of some mainstream thing that came out or some celebrity or something like that, share it out like you would do that, because people do need this message. If I'm coming on here recording this, there's a reason somebody had to hear something in this video. And that's just the way it works. Or I wouldn't have came on here and wasted my time doing it. But at the same time, it's also for me too. So anyways, let's get into it. So where I want to go with the vibration and frequency is, if you've noticed in your life, there's a particular time, I would venture to say this was probably like around 2020, and I was heavy on Instagram. I was a part of this multi-level company, and I met a lot of amazing people, and individuals and souls and just people that were wanting to serve and help in another type of way. Again, it kind of goes in line with some of the stuff I talk about on here with nutrition and health and things like that. But it also had a spiritual / religious aspect to it. It was really, you did what you did depending on how you were. Anyways, that's not what the point is. But the point is, I remember this time in my life, at that point, when I started to notice, and I really was, it was really, really heavy awareness at that point. And I remember like situations where I was at people's houses, and I remember maybe being in another room and they had some sort of thing that they were watching on the box. And again, you know why I do that. I don't want to speak about certain things just because I know this is a small channel right now, but I don't want eventually, as we grow, for the videos to be censored and taken down because of certain things that I say. So I'm trying to watch my words. I know that this has happened to people that I know, and I don't want to. I don't want to have to do that because there's really great messages in these videos, and so I'm going to watch certain terminology that I use. Okay. So again, let me just say one thing, and then we'll continue. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you get notifications when we drop new videos. Please like, comment, and share. Please do all of that because you're going to help this channel grow, expand, for us to grow and expand, for us to build this community that we can all share with each other. And we can get these videos out to people that need them and need the messages within them. So I hope that you can do that for me. I would be truly grateful and honored. And I love and thankful that all of you are a part of this journey with me and walking alongside it. So getting back to the message that I'm bringing. So what I started to notice is even when I was in a store or in a public place, okay, I'll give those both examples because I would notice that maybe I was standing in a crowd of people or maybe walking at a convention center. That may be a little bit better of a way to explain it. And I'm walking down one of the aisles and somebody would walk by and maybe they'd be on their phone and they would be talking, and maybe it was like some sort of negative thing that they would be talking about. And I remember only hearing like they'd walk by, like it would be like somebody in passing, and the words that they were saying, I wouldn't really hear the words. It was almost like it was like a train going by 1,000,000 miles an hour. And it was just kind of like mumbo jumbo. And you didn't really hear the messages they were saying. You just heard like sounds. And then there would be other times where I noticed I'd be doing the same thing, walking and passing, and I would hear exactly what the person would say. And it would be maybe something negative. And you see, with vibration and frequency, we're constantly going up and down in frequency and vibration. And it's not like a constant thing because energy is always moving, is constant. It never exactly it never is the same. It's always moving like a river, and so I started to notice that this would happen on a more frequent basis. I started to hear when somebody would be maybe listening to the news in another room. And all of a sudden, I wouldn't hear the words, and it was blasting, but I wouldn't hear the words. I would only hear like sounds, like maybe them speaking, but you couldn't make out what they were saying. Maybe that's a better way to explain it. And then other days, like, or somebody would be in passing past my room, like a roommate would be passing, and my door would be shut, but I wouldn't hear what they're saying. It would just be like kind of sounds or noise. And then all of a sudden, another day, they'd be walking by and I could hear every single thing they were saying. And I started to realize, I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm kind of getting the gist of this frequency thing or this vibration thing. Or you're just not in alignment, like for nothing, you try to call this person and for nothing, you can't reach them. You just keep missing them. And then you just decide, okay, I'm just going to let this go. I'm not going to put no more energy towards this. And then all of a sudden you just never connect. Or another good example, you're leaving your house and then you decide to go somewhere. And if I say this all the time, if I would have left 5 minutes sooner, 5 minutes later, I wouldn't have ran into that person or seen their vehicle pass by me. It's like, it's so insane and crazy how the vibration, the frequency works, because it's not only with things that you hear. Maybe at that moment your frequencies was at a different frequency or vibration than they were, so you did not hear what they had to say. For example, people gossiping, and maybe you don't do that anymore. Yes, there's people out there that still do it. It's going to still happen, but maybe you just won't be available to hear that or be in that mix of a group of people that are doing that, because you're not at that frequency. You're not doing that anymore. You said, I'm done with that. I'm over that. I don't do that anymore. Right? So it gets like really like hairy and dicey, and because different people will say different things, and they'll just the people that are on a different conscious level. And again, I hate to say that because I don't like saying that somebody's above you or below you, or you're above them or below them, but it's the truth when it comes to vibration and frequency and the conscious level. And as you keep opening your mind, like I'm doing with tarot, and I'm doing with reading The Power of Now and the Four Agreements and all these things, and getting into like what Deepak Chopra talks about. And, the more and more you deep dive down these rabbit holes, the more you're expanding your mind. And there's no way you can go back to that way you used to be. As much as you want to grip on, like you're hanging off a mountain, grabbing onto your old self, holding that old self from falling off the mountain. And yet you can't go back. You start opening your mind and listening to these things like Gaia TV and other channels that expand your mind, and you start going down these rabbit holes. There's no going back, and you start to notice yourself growing apart. I have an amazing friend that well over probably 20-year friendship, and we don't even speak as much as we spoke before. And I mean, maybe if we speak once a month, it feels like we never stop talking. But it's different. It's different. It's not the same anymore. We're not in the same, like, that's where I talked about on a previous video about this new earth, or the current earth that we're on, how it's splitting, and not physically splitting. I don't mean that. It's hypothetically speaking, it's a metaphor, because we're essentially kind of splitting in a way. Our conscious levels are splitting. The ones that want to just play in the 3D and just essentially play in that material realm, and then the ones that are still they got their foot in, but then a foot out too. That they're not so attached to the material things and the material way of living anymore. And they're deep diving in these topics and expanding their mind. But then there's others that you kind of want to be oblivious to it. You want to just pretend like it's not happening. So you play in I'm working a 9 to 5. Not to say that you don't have to pay bills, and not to say that you don't have things to buy and eat and things of that nature, but you don't use as much those things to distract you or numb out with. And then you go down these rabbit holes of the power of now, or going deeper and deeper than that, the law of one, which is one that I started reading, and it's a lot. I mean, damn, I think there's like 5 books. The one book I'm on is like this thick. I think like over 500 something pages. I'm totally enjoying it. I just haven't picked it back up again because I'm dabbling in so many different things that I want to expand my mind faster and faster. I want to learn all of these things. I want to learn. I'm a seeker. I'm a truth seeker. I'm seeking out the magic of the universe, of this planet. I want to know everything, and I probably won't in this lifetime. If I decide to come back, I hope and pray that when I do, it's after all of this expansion and ascension and evolution, and we're way beyond that before I do. But it's an interesting play on the frequency and vibration, and how it works, and how you start to see, you're like, oh my God, I'm changing, I'm growing, I'm evolving, I'm expanding, but yet I can't take these people along with me. I'm just not meshing with them anymore. I'm just not. I mean, damn, like I had quite a few friends later on in my life, in my middle years, like in my early 30s, like late 20s, probably, maybe even mid 20s, and they're not non-existent, you know. And slowly but surely they just started falling off as I got older and older. But mind you, I didn't start expanding and evolving and growing and changing like it's probably the last 7 years, I would say. So prior to that, I was not changing. I was resistant to change. I was fighting it. And the universe had to keep bashing me over the head with a 2x4. And I've spoken about this on many videos. You know, if you're extremely resistant, well, the health challenges are going to be a coming. The difficulties are going to be a coming. The more you create friction and resistance to the change that is occurring, no matter what, the more that the universe has to step in and force you to change. And I am no stranger to that. And I've learned that lesson. I've stepped out of that. I've graduated that grade. Okay, let's just say I don't need any more forcefulness by the universe. I don't need any more, pushing and shoving. I'm not creating friction anymore. Although there is some things I resist, I notice still, and that there's a level of attachment that I'm learning more and more to let go of. Because, as I said, the more you try to resist and create friction, the more the universe steps in and says, oh, hell no, this ain't happening no more. You are not going to create resistance and friction anymore. So, but getting back to the frequency and vibration, you start to, mind you, let me just say this. Several years ago, I was privy to this already. And I was speaking about this to certain people and saying, this is what I'm afraid of. This is my biggest fear. That as I start, that's a big part of why I resisted change so much. First of all, from being from South Florida, it was very hard to adapt to change because your outer world, everything was the same all the time. It was not changing. The leaves were the same, the weather was the same, the external was the same. And so it made it very difficult to adapt to change, at least for me anyway. And if you were from Florida or you're from Florida, drop it in the comments what you think and if it was difficult for you to adapt to change or if you had a hard time with change like I did. So I was very, very resistant and created a lot of friction towards change. And so I started to realize the more and more I got slapped across the back of the head, the more and more I awakened, and the more and more I started to pay close attention to vibration and frequency, and I started to see just things fall off in my life as I got older, and and then you try to force it or you try to make it happen, but it just isn't happening. Like I tried to tell you what I was telling you earlier with calling somebody over and over again, and it just not like crossing, like the lines you keep missing each other, so to speak. And so that right there was a common thing that I've tried to force, and it never worked. And then I'd just leave it be, and I'd let go, and I'd say, all right, forget it. And then I'd forget about it, and then maybe try again. I'd get this burst of energy and want to do it again. But in actuality, it just wasn't working. The stars were not aligning. So I feel like that is, well, first off, I mentioned this in previous videos too about frequency and vibration and the energies, and where we're moving in 2023 is based off energy, based off a knowing, a feeling. Like I feel like I want to do this, or I feel like I want to do that. And it's the same goes for the frequency and energy. Like you're gonna feel like, man, I'm creating so much friction to try to hang out with this person, but I really don't feel like calling them, but yet I want to reach out, but I don't. There's no push of energy to do it. And that's kind of like the universe just pulling you guys apart. Your frequency and vibration is not matching. Maybe one person is going up in vibration or down in vibration because we're always changing. We're always either going up or down. But the expansion of the mind is always going forward as long as you keep expanding it. That never goes backwards. I learned this a while back that it's like elastic, and once it starts expanding, it just doesn't shrink back. There's no going back. So that part of it is different, but the frequency and vibration part of it does go up and down. So one minute you can be in alignment with them, and then another minute not, but you're still going to experience probably majority of the time with them there's nothing there. Like it almost feels like you're talking to a wall. It's like boring to you, because now you've gone down this rabbit hole. Now you've gone deeper with your mind, and now you're requiring more deeper, profound conversations. Like it needs to keep getting deeper and deeper because you've already experienced that. You're already there now, and there's no going back. And now, like, these mundane things just don't excite you anymore. They don't give you, so you keep seeking like these like deeper and deeper knowledge. You're like, man, I want to know the secrets of the universe. I mean, mind you, when I was a kid, I wanted to know where God came from. I tried to keep thinking my way to it back then in the 90s and 2000s and early 2000s and stuff like that. Man, they didn't have stuff like YouTube. it was even harder to find information and knowledge than it is now. I feel like we have it at our fingertips, like all over the place, and it's just busting through the seams. People are sharing more and more, which is opening our minds more and more. And I think that is what has is also pushed this awakening process so much faster because of the knowledge and content that's coming out, and the platforms that are it's leaking through the cracks, and it's almost like the dam has broken, and the information's getting through these leaks and these cracks no matter what. There's no stopping it now. You can't plug the holes anymore. It's just like the content and information just getting through no matter what. And more and more cracks and holes are breaking free, and the water's just bursting through the seams. And we have so much information and data at our hands now that compared to in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, it's like you had to really, really, you know, just dig and dig and dig to get information, and the people that were bringing it out would disappear. Now there's so many of them that they can't even keep track of it anymore, and they can't stop it. It's just unstoppable. And then on top of it, what I feel like sparks it is a health challenge or a crisis that somebody has, because of their resistance. I don't believe that that's how it has to happen, but that's how it does. It has been happening, and I believe that that the more and more you resist against what your path is, or what you feel in your heart or in your soul that you're meant to go down, and you try to fight it and resist it because of the massive change that's going to happen if you go down that path. Like you're going to lose friends and family, and all kinds of things are going to happen just because you're going down that path that they don't resonate with and they don't understand. And the more and more you try to fight it and resist it, well, there comes the health challenge. There comes the crisis, which then potentially could drive you down that right path. Potentially, I say, because not everybody wakes up from that. I did, but it took a bunch of times. It was like a slow process. It was like, man, okay, boom, I'm having back spasms. Boom, I'm having neck spasms. Boom, my ribs pop out. Boom, all these different things. The list goes on. And these were all warning signs to get me on that path, right? But I was still fighting the change because I was too scared and fearful that if I did change this drastically, maybe I could be by myself. In in actuality, you're not really by yourself because there's billions of people on this planet, souls and included, and and you have God, you have Source, you have Divine. But when you're down that wrong path, you disconnect from that. Even though you may believe that there's a God or there's Source, you still disconnect from it, and you don't feel grounded, which I didn't, and you feel like you're blindfolded walking around the planet. So it's very scary when you decide to take that turn, and you say, you know what, F this, I'm going down this path. This is what I'm meant to go down, regardless of what the ramifications are, which is losing people that all you knew your entire life. Change is hard, man. Drop it in the comments what you think, but I'll tell you what, man, change is not easy for any of us unless you had a lot of it at a young age, massive change at a young age, and traveling the world, and you were just very cultured in how you were brought up, and you were brought up in a way that everything was unconditional love, which I think that majority of us were not. Majority of us were brought up conditionally. It was all conditional based, and that makes it for very difficult trip on this planet or journey. But it can be very fruitful too, because you now have this knowledge, you have this experience, you have this you're seasoned, you're not green anymore, and you just you come with a lot of strength, like the strength card. You come with a lot of strength. And but I will say this, that a lot of those experiences for me, the tough ones, I was fighting. I was fighting and resisting. There was a lot of friction. I was kicking and screaming. And it's been, it was almost like I just saw a visualization of me on like somebody's shoulders with my hands going like this and my feet kicking in the back as I'm trying to like hold on to what was, instead of moving with what is. And that has a lot to do with frequency and vibration. Because as I said, as you start expanding your mind to like tarot or books like The Power of Now or things like that, or The Law of One, there is no humanly possible way that your mind is not expanding. And after you finish reading that and you actually absorb it, because your cells will absorb that information as you're reading it and activating your DNA and all this kind of stuff, there's no way that you can go back and read some random book that is not deep content that you're going to be like, yeah, well, this is really badass and interesting. It's not going to be interesting anymore, because now you need more. You need more deeper, like you're now following that trajectory of like, I read The Law of One. Now I got to go deeper. Now I got to go much deeper, maybe into past lives, maybe into near death experiences, maybe into, past life regression. Maybe just you start wanting more and more and more. It's not enough anymore. And these conversations that you used to have that were surface level begin to change, because now you're expanding your mind and your frequency and vibrations going up and your conscious levels going up. And the people that are still speaking about that surface level stuff or the gossip, it's not going to resonate anymore with you. They're on a different frequency and vibration. And not to say that they're lower or above you, they're just on a different frequency and vibration. Let's put it in that, let's say it in that way. I feel like that's a better way to say it. I don't like doing that, because again, that always puts somebody above or below, and I just don't like that. I don't like putting somebody on a pedestal saying, they know more, because that's not the case. Everybody's on their own journey, and their own path. And we just have gotten to a point where we separate and divide, because that's what we were taught. And, oh, you have a nicer car than I do, or you have a bigger house, or you've got 10 cars and 10 houses, success in the physical is kind of how we've determined how much somebody has accomplished in their life, at least currently, and at least how we've been. And I vastly think that's changing very rapidly as people wake up more and more. They're starting to realize that the material things don't really make you happy. It goes a lot deeper than that. And so, but let's just say it's, you're just different. You're on a different frequency and vibration, and your conscious level is different. You've decided to go down that rabbit hole. They didn't. So that in turn has caused you to like separate. And I don't mean again separate like divide it up. I just mean you're like a magnet getting pulled apart, because you've decided to seek out that information or be a truth seeker, and they decided to just stay oblivious to it and just pretend like it's not actually happening around them, or like wanting to know more. as I said, when I was a young kid, probably 10, 11, 12 years old, man, because I went through a lot at that at a young age too, which pushed me into awakening, you know. And so, at that young age, I was already like seeing through these agencies that rule us. And that's the words I'm going to use. And you know what I mean. And also, like I would wonder and question why the sky was blue and how, like, we're here walking and talking and seeing and hearing and tasting and in this flesh and this physical body that is so freaking powerful, and we could talk to it and speak to ourselves into healing and all these powerful things that we've been kind of suppressed from, so to speak. That we just rely on this pill that we take or this person that has a white coat, and just they're going to dictate how much time we have left here and what we need to do next, instead of us taking that power and strength into our own hands, and saying, you know what, I'm going to be here for as long as I plan to be here. I'm going to take my strength back and my self-worth and my power and not put it in the hands of somebody else, which is basically giving your power away and your energy away, which is essentially lowering your vibration to a fear level, and then, of course, the things we listen to and consume also shifts our vibration and our frequency, because words have power. Not to say that you can't listen to those things and that you need to like isolate yourself from it. That's not what I'm saying. But the differences, how long you can consume that. You can feel it with the energies that you're experiencing. So we went way above what I usually will do, want to do. I mean, I love doing this. I could sit on here for hours talking about this, which, mind you, we're going to do a part 2 and maybe even more. Frequency, vibration, energy, all of that stuff is a powerful, powerful topic that we are all facing currently and will continue to face as we awaken more and more. So we're going to become privy to the frequencies and the vibrations and the energy, as like I hear my ears ringing, and I'm sure you probably do. If you're watching this video, drop a comment. Let me know what you're experiencing. If you've had these experiences with frequency and vibration, and if you've gone down these rabbit holes, and if probably you have if you're watching this video. Just let me know, man, if you feel this is a safe place, man, for us all. Nobody is going to bully you or ridicule you. Yeah, I know it's censored and things like that, but keep it, you know what to do. If you're on this channel, you know what to do. So I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, do it all. Please help us grow this channel, help more people get this message. This was a powerful message that I felt called to do. I had no idea it would take us this far, this deep, and this long. But you never know on this channel. And some people do like the longer videos, some don't. You could break it up into multiple times listening to it, however you feel called to do it. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember this message. You get away from the mic. That's the message for today, man. Only love heals. As birds are flying outside my window right now and chirping away. Remember this card. You have strength. You are strength. You're amazing. You're courageous. Just trust. Believe. You got this, man. We're wisdom warriors. And if you're watching this, you're a warrior too, with lots and lots of wisdom. I love you all so much. Thank you again for listening. Thank you again for watching. From my heart to yours, I love you guys so much. Again, thank you. And bless you all. Love you all. Take care. Let's go, Wisdom Warriors. We got this. Yes.